Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations to my high achievers. I am so proud of all of you for accomplishing your goal to graduate from Joliet Junior College. Greatness is your destiny. You are the solution to an intractable problem in the world. You are the answer to a question that humanity has been asking. I am glad that JJC could have a role in your success. Without question, on your journey to completion, you encountered a number of challenges and obstacles that you had to overcome, but you made it. Take the time to celebrate. Savor the moment. Sit in the significance of your achievement. Enjoy the ceremony today. Go somewhere special with your family. Eat something delicious. Take a trip. Do a dance. However you choose to celebrate, make it worthy of your accomplishment and worthy of your greatness. Congratulations once again.
Thank you again to Drs. Mitchell, Dr. Farmer, and Dr. Mackey. It's wonderful to be supported by our administration, and your words are always appreciated. I like to take a little bit of time during this event to give a little recap of our year. And as I mentioned earlier, it's been an interesting couple of years for all of us. And part of what's made it so interesting is just trying to figure out how to do the things that we normally do, but in new ways. But as much as it's a time of challenge, a season of challenge, that also creates a season of opportunity. One of the magical things that happens when we experience adversity is that we have to come up with new solutions that we hadn't had to before. We often think in new and creative ways. And so I think all of us recognize that as we look forward to next year and to returning to more in-person classes and more in-person events, that the way we think about those events is also changing. And so I think it's a really exciting time, and it can be energizing if you allow it to be. So this year has been interesting. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the first time I'm meeting some of our students face to face, which is bittersweet for sure, because this is for the students attending today, the last specifically honors program event they will attend at JJC. And now they see that I actually exist below the chest. And I can say that they do as well, which is exciting. This fall, we began the year operating completely remotely. We wanted to be very, very cautious and careful. I live with an autoimmune disease, so my immune system doesn't function all that well sometimes. And other folks in our office have that same concern, as do some of our students. And so we began sort of extra cautious, but we did host our kickoff party. We did that virtually and tried to make it as engaging as we could. Let me tell you, it was not that engaging, but we tried, we did our best. And then in our next event, we were able to welcome representatives from a number of different organizations on campus, including Study Abroad and the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, the STEM Scholars Program, Career Services, and more, to help our students connect with other programs on campus that we think are valuable to them. We all know that in JJC's core values, we see the word collaboration. And so making that opportunity for students to connect with others is really important to us. So that one was also virtual, but we tried to make our next event was our kickoff, or not, oh my gosh, not the kickoff party, that's what we started with, was our transfer pizza party. And we pushed that back by a month. It's usually October, but we pushed it back to November, hoping that would be a little bit easier to meet face to face. And something amazing happened, which is that we had a record number of schools participate this year. We had 30 schools on campus to meet specifically with honors program and Phi Theta Kappa members. We invite Phi Theta Kappa to attend that event with us. but we had more than 40 schools submit information to us for our booklet. And so that told us that those transfer reps in schools are as excited to get back to face-to-face stuff as we are. We tried, though, to also live stream that event. And failure is a really good way to learn. And I shouldn't say really that we failed, but it was not any kind of professional, which is why we're really thankful that we have Jake assisting us today, because one of the things I learned is that I need help with those types of things. And so we were able to then also live stream our undergraduate research symposium last December. And we've been continuing to hold our events in person now, but to continue live streaming them as well, which we're doing today, because we know we have so many students who either cannot attend in person or their whole college experience so far has been online. And this is just the way they're familiar with participating. And so we are live streaming today. And so we've got folks joining us at home as well. For that reason, I will be announcing all of our participants and all of our graduates, not only because it's important and they deserve that acknowledgement, but also because they may be watching at home. And so they certainly want to hear their name said. We did, as I said, start our in-person things this spring, or started doing all of our events in person this spring. So we had our kickoff party again. We attended the Honors Council of the Illinois Region Convention or Conference for Undergraduate Research, as well as some business meetings in there. And we did our scholarship workshop face-to-face this year and live streamed that as well, and then did that again with our research symposium. We didn't have a whole lot of social activities this year because of some of the challenges of transporting students. Many of you are aware that we normally do 1 or 2 museum trips per year, typically 1 per semester. And we were able to transport students in college vehicles, but the idea of packing 15 people into a van and calling that safe just didn't really work for me. So ultimately, we decided not to do those types of activities, but we did do a couple of in-person social things. So we began with a fall fest in the fall. So a couple of the students who helped us with that, organizing and planning, are here. We decorated pumpkins and we had costume contests, and Irina made a little frame for people to do selfies in so that we could have an Instagrammable moment. Like, what's up? What kind of event is it if you can't Instagram it, right? If you didn't Instagram it, did you even go? I don't think you did. You certainly didn't get what you were supposed to out of it if you didn't get a selfie. So we had just a lot of fun with that event. And then we did another one just last week, which was a game night. And so we had a lot of fun playing Apples to Apples. And it was an interesting version of Apples to Apples I've never played before. I didn't know there was different versions. It was all visual. And so that was really interesting, trying to figure out what some of those stock photos even were. I had no idea, but it was a lot of fun and a great opportunity to connect. I'm very excited to acknowledge, though, that this summer, we are intending to do one more in-person event, and students who are graduating, you are of course welcome to join us for this event, but it's a great opportunity for our new students also to get engaged and involved. And so our plan is on July 6th, we will be going to Ravinia Festival in Highland Park, where we'll watch one of my favorite movies of all time, Goonies, while the Chicago Symphony Orchestra performs the score live. So it's a really fun and entertaining way to hear the Chicago Symphony Orchestra perform, but it's also a great chance for us to bring a lot of blankets and bring some Uno cards and our picnic lunches and hang out and get to know one another before the stress of the fall semester begins. So those of you who are administrators, watch your email. You'll probably be getting an invitation to join us for that event as well. And we'll even pay for your ticket if you go with us, right? So we'll sweeten the pot as much as we can. You might have to provide your own transportation and lunch, but I've got a blanket you can share. So, right, so you're set for that. This year, we did not get to do our spring break study abroad trip to Costa Rica, again, for the second year in a row, for very obvious reasons. And I guess I haven't even had a chance to talk about that trip since the last time we went, because we didn't have an in-person graduation. But we returned from Costa Rica on March 15th of 2020. And so if you think about what was happening, the stay-at-home order came out on the 17th, I believe. And it was a really interesting return to the United States. The whole trip was smooth until the last day. And it was actually the evening of the last day at 9 p.m. that I got the email from Interjet Airlines telling us that our flight had been canceled and that we had been rebooked. The email was entirely in Spanish, by the way. So it's a good thing I'd taken a couple semesters of Spanish, but I was not really prepared to read that. Thankfully, we had a Mexican student with us who speaks Spanish fluently as her first language. And so she was able to read that email to me. And what we discovered was that our flight was leaving 6 hours earlier than we anticipated. And we were in a different part of the country and needed to get our transportation worked out. And I'm just so thankful that we've built strong relationships with the folks who support us there, because it was not a problem at all. They just said, okay, what time do you want us to show up? We'll be there whenever you need us to. So we got everybody back safely, but we learned that we were delusional when we started on that trip, thinking it'll be fine. Everything changed in a matter of 3 or 4 days from the time we got on the plane to when we arrived. But we're really looking forward to that. And one of the really exciting things is we have been collaborating with a student this semester who is graduating in the digital media production program. And as his final projects for his final class in that degree, he's created 2 videos for us related to our Costa Rica trip. So one is a very short 35 to 40-second promo that can go up on the television screens around campus when we start promoting. And there is a 10-minute-long film that's more about the trip and interviews with Professor Hieneman and myself. So we're looking forward to sharing that with the campus community as we get ready to recruit in the fall semester. So if you know students who are interested in environmental science, environmental biology, sustainability, and they like sloths, you want to send them my way, because I've got lots of sloths for them. Lots. Literal laundry baskets full of baby sloths that they won't be able to touch, but they can look at and coo and giggle and be happy. So that's sort of our year. I mentioned that this is kind of a small or mighty group. It was, of course, a little bit frustrating as the RSVPs were slow to come in. But then as Stella and I were talking, we realized that when we looked at the list of graduates, this is their whole college experience has been online. And so that they didn't feel a strong desire to come and join us in person today really didn't surprise us. But when we looked, many of them were on the list of students that are attending the commencement ceremony. And so that made me really happy to know that they're at least going to come onto campus for that part. And we're going to have to mail some of their materials to them. So I do have 2 groups of awards that I'll be giving out today. The first is for our participants. And so for this one, we only have 1 student who is here. I'll name all of them, but it will actually be, Emilio is going to be playing the role of Beyonce today. That's the role I assigned to the last person in a list, right? It's the headliner. So Emilio is going to be the headliner, and it just happens that he's the last person on the list. So you really are Beyonce today. It's pretty exciting. It's a good day to be Beyonce. And so for this one, the students will receive a certificate, as well as a small gift from us, which is the bookmark that's down on the very end there. And so Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Farmer, would you help us with these 2 awards? All right, so it'll be the certificate that's right here on the very end, and then the bookmark on the end as well. I apologize that I'm going to make you stand there for a really long time with everyone staring at you. All right, so our participants this year, these are students who are either graduating or transferring. But they either did not complete 15 credits of honors coursework, or they may not have maintained the 3.25 GPA, or they may be transferring before they graduate. And what's really interesting is that sometimes these students have actually completed 15 credits of honors coursework, and they have the 3.25 GPA, but they're leaving 1 credit or 2 credits short. So often these students do transfer credits back to us and earn their degree as well as honors graduation after the fact. And in fact, I'm going to announce 2 students in our graduates today who did that very same thing. So some of these students may end up being graduates down the road. So first we have Amanda Acup, Nolan Bernicki. So these students are here. It'll be Emilio when we get to him. He's here. All right. Yasmin Chavez, Lauren DeLange, Katie Kutzel, Maria Magana, Mackenzie McGuire, Max Mensick, Nicole Murphy, Nicole Nelson, Roberto Ochoa, Haley Olson Rowley, Joshua Prattle, Elena Spader, Jacqueline Smith, Cassidy Stack, Lisa Toradai, and last but certainly not least, our Beyonce today, Emilio Zarate. Emilio is earning his Associate of Arts degree. He is majoring in finance and transferring to Eastern Illinois University. I wasn't thinking about the setup of this. I'm like, I'm in the back, like, oh hi, I can't be ignoring you. I've got to smile when you're ready for it. And he wants to thank Lori Johnson for helping with his graduation evaluation. Lori Johnson is one of our faculty in business and accounting and a great advisor. So I'm glad that you availed yourself of her expertise. Our second group of awards today will be for our graduates, and we have about half of our graduates here today, so we're really looking forward to acknowledging each of them. First, Fatama Alam, Andrew Antich, Rachel Barrett, and here with us today, Irina Beziglova. Irina was awarded and recognized as well as the So Lynn, would you step up and help with that part of it? I meant to say that, but I forgot. Perfect. So we recognized Irina yesterday as well as one of our outstanding honors leaders at the student recognition event for all of the work she did with Fall Fest and our other in-person events today, or this year. Irina is earning an Associate in Arts, and she will be transferring to Eastern Illinois University, where she will be studying nutrition and dietetics. And she would like to thank her advisor, Professor Golden, and her family. That's me, by the way. Natalia Boria, and also here today, Charlize Kramer. Charlize is earning her Associate in Arts degree, and she will be studying law at Illinois State University. And she wishes to acknowledge her honors advisors for their assistance through this process. Also here with us today, Shane Franzen. Shane is also earning his Associate in Arts degree in history, where he will be transferring to University of Arkansas. Shane is the recipient of a PTK scholarship in the amount of $2,500 and a non-resident merit scholarship in the amount of $14,000. So congratulations, Shane. Shane is a very good boy and wants to acknowledge his parents for their support. Ashley Gonzalez. And here with us today are Pam Patel. Arpan is earning his Associate in Arts degree, and he will be transferring to Arizona State University. Where he will study software engineering with a minor in psychology. Mia Pust, and here with us, Clarissa Rowling. Clarissa is earning her Associates of General Education or General Studies. She'll be transferring to UIC, where she will study public policy. And she wants to acknowledge athletics and the Office of Student Activities, as well as specifically Professor Brian Fruits for being there for her. And so if you didn't know this, Clarissa recently made her theatrical stage debut in Beckett Bites. And so talk about like new experiences you can have at JJC, even in the midst of a pandemic, right? All kinds of cool stuff happening. Also here today, we have Paisley Stevens. Paisley is earning her Associate in Arts degree. She studies music and music education and will be transferring to Northern Illinois University. She did receive a Transfer Excellence Scholarship there, as well as a music talent-based scholarship. No surprise, if you were at our recent symposium, you got to hear some of the music that she's recorded, so that was really exciting for us. And she would like to acknowledge all the music department's amazing faculty for their support over the past couple years. Congratulations. And the last graduate we have with us today, I forgot to mention earlier that Clarissa also was recognized yesterday as one of our outstanding honors leaders at the recognition event. And the third student that was acknowledged there is our final graduate for today, and that is Megan Struppus. Megan was the recipient, go ahead and clap. Megan was the recipient yesterday of our Honors Spirit Award, which recognized her perseverance to complete her degree. And so I'm going to try not to make her cry today by saying more things like that about her. So instead, I'll tell you that Megan is graduating next week with her Associate in Science degree in biology, and she'll be transferring to Loyola, where she's received a transfer merit scholarship, potentially for the full amount of her tuition and fees. Okay, I'm going to try not to make you cry, but believe me when I say this, that I cannot think of a more deserving student who has impressed me at every turn with her just willingness to dig in and do what needs to be done to succeed. So I really appreciate it. And she would like to acknowledge everyone in the honors program, but especially Al. That's always so weird. Right? The JJC professors and staff for all of their continued support. Congratulations, Megan. We have 3 more graduates to acknowledge, and they are Riley Van Dyne, Daniel Webster, and Alyssa Ziva. So one more time, I would like to congratulate all of our graduates, all of our participants, whether you're graduating or transferring. And I want to wish you all the success in the world as you move on to whatever comes next for you. And I hope that you'll remember us in some small way for whatever contributions we may have made to your success here at JJC. We certainly have appreciated the opportunity to work with all of you the past few years, and we hope that we have done our job in preparing you in mind and resources for whatever comes next. And now the most important part of the day, there's cake. And we do welcome you to hang out, have some refreshments with us, visit, have more photos taken if you would like to. And good luck next week at commencement to all of those of you who are graduating. And enjoy your very, very well-earned summer break, everyone. Thank you so much.